Good afternoon, family. I'm Curtis Cheatham Jr., and welcome to This Week in Black America. And here's a rundown of this past week's highlights. The political persecutions continued this week as New York Attorney General Letitia James became the latest target. Chicago and Portland continue their fight to keep National Guard troops out of their cities. And the government shutdown enters its second week with no end in sight, but a peace deal between Israel and Hamas seems to be on the horizon. And the White House Deputy Chief of Staff and Homeland Security Advisor made some remarks in an interview this week that are raising some concerns. And a new fuel source was tested this week with the potential to solve our plastic recycling problem and our dependence on foreign fuel. And we'll get into all of that along with so much more coming up on This Week in Black America. And as always, I got my brother Deshaun with me. How are you this afternoon, brother? I hope everything is going great for you.
Everything is great. Great to see you. Always great to be by your side. Welcome to our co-host checking in. For those of you who may be new here, we invite you to stay by your keyboards. This is a very active show. We invite you to share your opinions, your comments. We bring them onto the show and we talk about them. We don't call you our audience. We call you our co-host. So we're here every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We go till about 1:30. Sometimes if the dialogue goes long, we'll go to about 2. But we have a lot of fun here. We try to catch up on everything that happened this week. For those of you who are busy working, sometimes you guys will share things with us that we may have missed. And that really makes the show a lot of fun. So if you're going to spend some time with us, hit the like button. That lets the algorithm know that you like this type of content. Make sure that you will get more of it. And we're happy to have you. So, Curtis, my brother, how's your week been? Well, let's not even from people freezing on camera to an incredible. We're witnessing the birth of a reiteration of a Black potential Rockefeller. You know, the genius in our there's so much that happened this week that I was just texting you and talking. I'm like, oh, we can't wait to talk about this. We're gonna have some laughs, but where we want to start? Cue us up. What's the first order of events you wanna go over?
Well, I want to first off wish everybody a happy Mental Health Awareness Day. I didn't realize that was today, but came up on my feed. So I want to remind everybody in the times that we are in right now, protecting your mental health and your peace is paramount because people are trying to get you off your square for sure. And so we definitely want to make sure we acknowledge that and how important it's interesting because when we were young, they didn't have any of this sort of. I mean, I never recall celebrating mental health awareness month or day or anything. So I guess it's good though that we, as we've advanced, I guess as a society, that we've learned to place a higher priority on protecting our mental health and those sort of things. And I got to give a shout out to the young folks who are really leading that charge. Very well. It's an important thing. Absolutely. So, and we are under assault, literally and figuratively these days from social media, from the administration, from whatever other forces are out there, demons. We talk about. It's all out there, and we're all being assaulted on a daily basis. So protect your neck, but from the neck up is as the Wu-Tang, I think it was.
Absolutely. The legendary Wu-Tang Clan.
Absolutely. But this week, we saw a continuation of this thing, which I mean, I guess I get it, but why is this administration so focused on putting troops in American cities? Using the military to police these different, mostly, let's put it like it is, mostly Democratic run cities where they're trying to deploy the military, National Guardsmen. Portland being the latest, Chicago fighting back, suing the administration. Can you tee that up for us? What's what in the world is happening with this right now?
Well, a federal judge has blocked President Donald Trump's order to deploy 200 National Guard troops to Oregon, ruling that his claims of widespread unrest in Portland were untethered to facts, and warning that the move risked unconstitutional military rule. U.S. District Judge Corinne Emmergut, a Trump appointee, found that Trump's justification, allegedly nightly violent protests targeting federal immigration authorities, was false, as local police described the demonstrations as small and mostly peaceful. I watched a video this morning, Curtis, of people saying we need to send some troops to Portland immediately, as they showed the videos of people in Elmo costumes dancing. You had white crowds out there playing little, they got banjos. Like it was certainly didn't give civil unrest.
Insurrection. That's not what you're saying, huh?
Not one bit. So maybe they just didn't get the right footage, but
there's no footage to have. This is I saw the one of the officials, the police officials in Portland, was like, "Yeah, we're talking about a 1 square block area where there's people protesting, literally 1 square block in a city the size of Portland, and that's enough to put the National Guard out, right?"
There was a similar thing that happened in LA, and it was successful at I guess rallying people to support whoever supported it. I mean, they were showing this was 2 blocks. I think it was 2 blocks in LA, maybe 3.
Exactly.
And I mean, some of us really don't know. I mean, how the magnitude of how big LA is. Like LA is bigger than some states.
Right.
So to show 3 blocks, cameras are powerful. Vantage points, perspectives, and how things are shot are powerful. You could take something that's happening in a 1 block radius and turn it into an incredible cinematic experience. Right. Just like we'll see some shows or movies that are 2-hour movies that they only cover a 24-hour time period. But it feels like, this is over years. This is, unfortunately, if you are only living on the optics of what you're seeing on social media,
right,
it can look like, whoa, things are out of control there. But like you just said, 1 block. And, and unfortunately, it's scary to see even the talks of military coming into more cities. And I don't, again, when we talk about where this is leading, you guys know my opinion, Curtis, my opinion, that this is a takeover. It's a takeover, and and this is the way Trump wants to run the country. And he doesn't, I don't think anyone can stop him. He has enough forces with him. He has enough people. Now, that doesn't mean people are not going to try to stop him. Right. I just don't think anyone can stop him because, he has the backing of it. It's just, this is dark, man.
One thing you said that's really palatable and powerful there is this administration, if they don't know anything else, they know how to craft the narrative. They know how to use the media to their own, If Donald Trump is nothing else, he's a good marketer, right? He knows how to gin up support, even if there's no there. There's no substance to it necessarily, but he knows how to rally the troops and get people fired up about whatever it is he's trying to. And so that's what we're seeing this administration do. They're crafting a cinematic experience to be played out on social media to get you to believe that, the world is on fire.
Right.
When the country's on fire, that our cities are in total disarray. Now, clearly there are criminal elements in all parts of our country, not just in the cities. There are some reports that places like Anchorage, Alaska are far more dangerous than cities like Chicago, but nobody reports on that. So, the one thing you have to give this administration credit for is their ability to try and convince your brain that your eyes are seeing something other than what's actually going on.
Yes. And really good entertainers. A lot of these guys are entertainers. They come from that's their background. So, they've spent years, they spent their career on camera. They've spent their career garnering attention. They know how to do it. They're very good at it, like you said, Curtis. And I think we need to really just adjust to the fact this is going to be the America of the future. And how long that lasts, that's going to remain to be seen. I don't think it's going to last very long at all. But fighting this is, I think, an exercise in futility. It's no point, because this is America now. And it's like you probably seen the video, co-host in the audience, maybe you guys have seen the video of the person. It's a black guy, I don't know his name, but the woman, the reporter said, so what do you recommend? Like, what's your advice for people, the youth in America? He said, leave.
Wow.
She said, wait, you want to, what do you mean by that? Leave. Because what he's saying is, this is it. This is what it's going to be. You need to decide if this is where you want to live based on the new America. If you're trying to hold on to what you thought America was, or what your ideals of America are or were, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in a fight. Because again, America wanted a king. They're promoting him for 2028. They're going to continue to Curtis, if everything he wants to do, he's done. Little resistance. That doesn't mean, of course, we've been talking about this since Inauguration Day, since those, dozens and dozens of his executive orders were signed and memorandums were signed. Okay. Supreme Court, rules it illegal. Okay. Sometimes they end up turning, so it's not to say we don't look like we're trying to put up resistance, but for the most part, do you see that the train has been halted or slowed down in any way that would make you think, if he wanted to be president in 2028, that he couldn't do it? Do you see the opposite side putting up enough of a fight, or making kind of hindering what your plans are? I know y'all had all these plans, but look, we stopping them. Do you see that enough that would make you think, you know what? I think if he wanted to run 2028, I think these guys could stop him. Or do you think if he wanted it, he can get it?
I have not seen anything that gives me confidence in the elected leaders actually doing what's necessary to fight back. Now, the people, on the other hand, still seem to have an appetite to want to protest and things like that. But I think that this administration's goal is to get people protesting, and specifically to get black and brown people protesting out in the streets, because then they can sell the fear factor. Not to quote the show, ironically, another, I think, NBC show, like the one that the president was, the network that the president was also on, I believe. But they're trying to get you worked up, so that you can, if you're scared, you're more likely to allow for your freedoms to be taken away if you think that somebody's coming to protect you from something else that you fear even more. So if they can convince you that, the cities are crazy and they're killing people left and right, and, you could be next. If they get you in that sort of mindset, then you don't mind that they can put troops into your city to try and quell the violence, the alleged violence, when it's really, in fact, better, as far as the statistics are going, that the crime rates are actually down in most large cities in America. But, this administration doesn't want you to believe the facts or, those sort of things. They want you to believe what they're telling you. And if we do that, then we deserve whatever it is that we get as a country, frankly.
It reminds me of with the way you just laid that out. You're trading, there's an expression, you're trading known hells for unknown evils. So you got people in these cities, because let's look at the opposite side of the coin. Our cities have looked bad for many, many decades. Right. And you have people who still believe that their local vote makes a difference, but then you don't have enough people who are actually involved in the local politics to give to put the pressure on the mayors and the city councils to hold these people accountable. And we talked about that last week. A lot of these other communities, they're heavily involved in their local politics. So, they're heavily involved in who's the mayor and who's on the city council and who's on what committees. And in a lot of our communities, we're not. So you will have those people who will sit back, not vote, complain,
right,
and they'll call for a replacement of the current administrations in their cities. This is the known hells. Because, hey, yeah, look, our city's been looking like this for years. Our city, maybe we should have Trump. Come on in, Trump, clean house up in here. But you don't realize you're trading those known hells for unknown evils, because now you'll look back in a year, 2 years, and you don't realize that the federal government having military in your city is a huge problem. It's a huge problem, bigger than you can understand, because you don't understand local politics or how politics works, how the states are supposed to be independent. Right. Independently run, the overreach of the federal government into the state. You don't understand this. So you're welcoming something that is unconstitutional, that is really setting your city up for grave danger. That's just my opinion. Anything, you want to either add or spin off that, before we, keep this thing moving? Get Black with me in the building. We're going to laugh in a minute. Go ahead.
How you doing? Get Black with me. Good to see you in the building. No, I really don't. I really just think that this is all organized chaos, trying to get us off our square, as I said, and get us worrying about what's going on, and maybe getting out into the streets so that something more nefarious can be unleashed against our people. And unfortunately, we're in a strange time, stranger than we've ever been in. And this is not the America it's not an America that I recognize learning about as a youngster and growing up in. So yeah, to your original point, listen, I'm not necessarily telling you have to leave, but what I am telling you is that there are other options, and we've been sold the bill that America is this bastion of whatever, we're the greatest at this, we're the greatest at that. There are very few things that America is great at these days other than consuming goods. We don't build anything. We don't really manufacture a lot of things, but we know how to buy things and spend money. And that's one thing we do very well. So,
just for some context, like we always say here, our co-hosts are just a cut above the rest. So that's why we welcome the dialogue. We welcome you to stay by your keyboard. Get Black with me said Hitler had the brown shirts, and I just looked at this up just for some additional context. Hitler's brown shirts were the paramilitary wing of the Nazi Party, responsible for, listen up, protecting rallies, intimidating opponents, and promoting Nazism through violence. They were known for their brown uniforms, a color chosen because of the availability of surplus shirts. They played a crucial role in Hitler's rise to power, but lost its influence after the Night of the Long Knives. So, again, when we talk about a leader having multiple secret police organizations, you have ICE, who no one can even... has anyone ever seen ICE produce a warrant?
Never. I have not.
And all the videos, all the videos are going. They're everywhere. Mm-hmm. We've never seen ICE produce a warrant. We've seen them really drag people out in a way that you would think these people were the most violent criminals, the way they're being taken down, put in cuffs, thrown into cars. That's just one aspect. And again, we spoke about how in the Big Beautiful Bill, the budget for ICE is going to go to $30 billion a year, making them I believe it was the 16th most funded group. Like there's military. If you ranked all the militaries in the world, all the everything, ICE at that point is the 16th most funded organization in the world. Let that sink in.
Right.
So now we're deploying. We have the National Guard at our disposal. This is all recipes for dictatorship, authoritarianism, and again, it is what it is. That's the way a portion of this country wants it. As Curtis just mentioned, you have to decide, and what we're trying to open your eyes to is America is not the only game in town. Because you thinking you're going to go change this, you have a better chance of not making it. You have a better chance of not surviving it thinking, well, let's go change this. Your safer play, and it may sound cowardly, but there was a you remember the phrase, Curtis, you can't fight City Hall?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if that was a phrase that you can't fight City Hall, it's not cowardly because you don't choose to fight what is becoming the most powerful government takeover we've ever witnessed in modern history. Because you don't choose to fight that, and you're seeing violence. We're going to talk about some other things where violence is not off the table for this administration. You're not cowardly because you don't choose to fight that. You're actually, in my opinion, smart by looking at other options, exploring other options of where are some safer places to live. And hey, if this whole thing blows over in 3 years, I'll come back to America. Mm-hmm. But rallying to fight against this takeover, I just don't think that ends well. That's all I got on this.
All right. Well, we've got a front row seat, unfortunately, to whatever is going to play out. But listen, in a world that's the internet has made the world a lot smaller, right? Mm-hmm. And so that we can now get news from what's going on anywhere in the world almost instantaneously. Those little computers that we hold in our hands can also help investigate. Where else is there to maybe live? Where, you don't have the political retribution that we're seeing in America, and, that sort of thing. And the push to try and put people in places where they need to protest and maybe even be subject to martial law. Or, what's interesting, and I heard another piece about this. So this might have gone under the radar, but the state of Texas sent, I believe it was 200 National Guard troops to Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. 200 National Guard troops to the state of Illinois to sort of enforce the whatever the reason they're there. And the governor of Oklahoma, who is a Republican, made an excellent point, saying he disagrees with Texas sending their troops to another state, because how would the state of Oklahoma feel if the state of Illinois sent 200 of their troops under a Biden administration to a Republican state in order to enforce some sort of federal guidance? It would be the beginning of a civil war for sure, because that a Republican state, a red state, would not stand for troops from a blue state coming in under a blue administration under the guise of some sort of protection. And I thought that was a salient point, is that, listen, we're seeing them do things that we know they wouldn't accept if the shoe were on the other foot. So
absolutely,
we'll wait and see how it plays out. But there's some things going on here that you got to sit back and think, why is that important? That's why it's important, because you would never accept this if the shoe were on the other foot. And
absolutely.
We're seeing the beginnings of something nefarious going on here for sure. Want to switch gears a little bit because it was a story I wanted to get to last week, and I don't know how much time we'll actually devote to it. But there was a group of there was a group, an Atlanta venture capital group called the Fearless Fund. Is a global initiative advancing demographic equity. And they had this grant that they were doing called the Strivers Grant. And it was specifically to support Black women. And they were taken to court by this group called the American Alliance for Equal Rights, led by some guy named Edward Blum, sued the Fearless Fund, saying that because they were offering these grants to Black women specifically, that they were discriminatory. And the fact that the matter is they were brought to court. They actually have settled. They settled the case. The Fearless Fund agreed to not offer that particular grant any longer. They are still continuing their efforts to inject, if you will, diversity and equity into the capital funding markets. But I thought it was interesting that they're still continuing to push forward. Now, even though they got sued, they settled it, but they're continuing their fight. And I'm just wondering what the next shoe to drop is going to be as far as them trying to fight now. These people really just trying to open up the capital markets to a more diverse population, because far too often we see that, and I know you know a little something about this, that the access to the capital markets has been restricted for a lot of businesses because they don't have the right complexion. Let's just call it what it is, I guess. And this group of people are really trying to equal that out, and people are upset that we're trying to equal the playing field, and that's what this whole DEI backlash is that people don't want an equal playing field. They want to have the advantage. Sure. They want to keep the advantage that they've had historically, and yet, when we try and do anything to kind of equal the playing field, it feels like persecution to them.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on that? I mean, I think that was a lot more significant for me last week when it first came out. But I'm proud to see that they're still continuing their fight. They're not giving up. Kind of going back to our last conversation, they're still continuing to fight, and there are many people that are continuing to fight. And I guess we need that, because you don't want to go down without a fight, and that's what we're seeing a lot of people do right now.
Absolutely. The capital is where they've tried to keep us out of. The capital markets, being able to raise the money for our companies, small business, expanding businesses, they've always tried to isolate us from those. And then what they do is when the company gets big enough, they'll buy the company, which is how a lot of these Black companies, Black hair care lines, Famous Amos, how do these companies end up in the hands of Wall Street traders and investment banks and, people doing leverage buyouts? Because we don't have people making us the same offers that are Black. So when you're tired and ready to cash out, retire, or you may have just built something and somebody wants to make you $100 million or $500 million offer, you take the offer because there was no other players except this white fund. But they make sure that they try to stifle the growth of access to capital for Black companies. So it doesn't surprise me that anything the Fearless Fund, their initiative to try to, specifically make sure that Black companies get funded is going to be met with these types of challenges, because they know that's the key. They know that once Black people understand how to move capital to their businesses and move capital for growth, scale, and they can keep other people's dollars out of their own businesses, that's it. It's game over. Because historically, we are able to create. We're able to create everything from, okay, here's an example. You heard the last 10 years, music artists telling you that when you take a record deal, it's a loan. So all it is a bank. It's not, yes, you have connections with the radio, but even that is not as necessary as it used to be with social media. What you're really paying for is, let me get that $1 million advance. What you're really signing the deal for is, let me get the $500,000 advance. Let me get the $3 million contract over a certain amount of time. It's a loan. It's not much else, but the connections are there. But once we realize that these artists and these players in the music business, if they knew how to get the capital, they wouldn't have to give up their publishing rights. If they had Black dollars moving towards their record companies, think about if Jay-Z and Dame and Biggs, when they started Rockefeller, could raise $5 million from their people, they might not even partner with Def Jam, because Def Jam, the major, puts the money up, fronts the money for the studio time, for the tour. So you're partnering with the major for the money. But it's like when, and the people who made the best deals were Baby from Cash Money and Master P.
Right.
Baby made a 90-10 deal. 90% I keep, 10% you get, Universal. Why did Universal take that deal? Because they realize this guy knows all we are is the money. He's going to put together the machine to do the stuff that we say we do. Get them on the radio, get the tours done, book the back, book the booking agents, the promoters, form those relationships. He's going to do that. So if he does that, all he needs from us is the money. And they were happy to take a 10% deal with Cash Money because they knew that 10% was going to make them hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. So that's what we saw when those people dropped this game on us about ownership. The one thing that we have yet to do is create the flow of capital freely into our businesses. And that's what they will fight tooth and nail to keep us out of this. That's why, again, I'm glad, like you said, the Fearless Fund Global Initiative is continuing to press forward, because that's a mission that is worth pressing forward on. And we'll get into one of the stories later about how, we have a genius who just needs a connection to capital. So, I mean, these two stories are somewhat related. I wish these two people kind of knew each other. Yeah. Is the Fearless Fund only funding minority women, or?
Yeah, I think that their focus has been traditionally been Black women, but listen, like you said, if they were to connect the two, I think that the natural synergy would be there. And the one thing I'm seeing and thought that came to my mind while you were talking is that, so often you work hard to put a business together. You get this big 6, 7, 8-figure deal to sell your company. Now you can go off somewhere and relax. You don't have to, in most cases, you don't have to go and get another 9-to-5 job or anything. You sold a major company for a lot of money, and then you can go and kind of rest on your laurels. But I think what we should be maybe doing is taking that money, and more importantly, the knowledge that we acquired, or that these people acquired, to get the company to a point where they could sell it for millions and millions of dollars. How about doing it again? Now you've got capital. Now you've got something to really actually tangibly invest in those ideas that our community seems to come up with all so often. We come up with a lot of great ideas, but we don't always have, to the point that we've been talking about, we don't have the capital investment or have access to the capital investments that are needed to bring those great ideas to fruition. And when we find somebody who's done it before, instead of them taking the money and going to an island or moving, somewhere where they can chill, maybe they get some sort of consortium together where they can, pool the money that they have made and use that to maybe invest in the next great thing or the next big thing. Get Black With Me makes a great point that rather than try and break into a hostile environment, create your own. And I often wondered why the people in our communities who've made it, the Oprahs of the world, the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncés of the world, the people who've accumulated great wealth, Magic Johnsons of the world, those kind of people that are, investing in and getting more money from their investments. Why haven't they come together and made an investment pool that's accessible for our community? That is specifically that they're looking for the genius in our community to invest in and get that off the ground. I would love to see us get to that point. And unfortunately, we have, I don't know, maybe it's just the American individualistic way of thinking that's an impediment for us. Because back when we were on the continent, there was much more communal way of doing things. And we've kind of bought into this American rugged individualism thing, when instead, at this point, what we really need is each other. We need to depend on each other so that we can build. And unfortunately, I don't know that message is making it through to us.
You just brought up a great point, and I want to play this a little clip that I actually watched this morning that really speaks. Good to see you, Jeannie Charles Ned, checking in, new co-host. This speaks to the question of why we're not seeing more Black wealthy people reinvest into building community, using the same brain power that helped them get wealthy to continually help them get richer, starting more companies and investing in more companies. This is Smack. His name is Smackwater. People call him Smack. You guys may have seen him. He's been going viral lately for his talks about God. But this kind of, let's just play it.
Man, be like, oh, that sound like victim mentality. And then here go these bitch ass niggas, yo, that sound like victim mentality. Bitch ass nigga, y'all been victimizing me for 500 years. Yeah. Nigga, why shouldn't I have a victim mentality? You expect me to have an assailant's mentality?
Correct.
Nigga, every nigga in America wake up playing defense. We ain't never on the offensive side of the ball.
No. Why not though? Because what I was gonna say is, you don't fault the Black people that have money for not rallying around.
You can't fault them because them niggas got that money and them niggas made a deal to be suckers and tricks and tools. Them niggas ain't got the right to do a bitch ass thing for your broke ass bitch ass nigga. Who the fuck is you? Okay. Nigga, that's not why we give you money. We give you money to keep these niggas chasing a fallacy that if you did it, they can do it. Or when these niggas go to acting up, we march your bitch ass out in front of these niggas and you tell them to sit they bitch ass down somewhere. What the fuck is y'all doing? Nigga, look how good we got it. Nigga, look how good the white man been to us. Bitch ass nigga, y'all fucking up my money.
See, now forgive the language,
so but how you really feel that.
Some things need to be, spoken from you. Say it with your chest.
Yeah.
That's not a new talk. That is, you could say multiple things in different ways, but we've heard this before. They can't. They're not allowed to. And the minute you as a Black person, if you're making money in their system, it could be they're your partners. So it doesn't need to necessarily be you are an employee, you're a musician, you're an artist. It just means you've partnered with people who have taken a stance that we must keep Black people in check. We cannot allow an uprising. And me and my father talk about this all the time. Why aren't you seeing any Black NFL, NBA players start anything other than the AAU team? You can't, none of y'all, almost every one of y'all come from the inner city. You get a contract, you're making 10 million a year, 15, 30 million a year, some of you, 50 million a year, some of you. Nobody's changed the community.
Right.
Not one of you. It's no way everyone could be thinking the same thing at once. So every industry, all they'll let you do is, you buy a couple things, you buy your movie theaters. And again, like Smack said, it shows, hey, if Magic Johnson could do it, what are you complaining about? And it doesn't take into account something. And again, I could borderline conspiracy theory. I just can't see hundreds and hundreds of Black people making money coming from the inner city, coming from places where they know you're not even feeding the whole city. You're not. What have you done? And then people say, "Oh, well, they might be doing it, but you don't know they're doing it." Okay. Then show me the footage of a town that has a mysterious benefactor that makes sure everyone in the town eats all the time. Show me the footage. Somehow, guys, magically money just comes to Chicago every day and it's food. And show me the town where it's being done. And then we could say, well, somebody's doing it. Somebody's doing it. There's an angel benefactor around here. Must be Black, whatever. So I think there's a serious agenda where these guys can't do it. It's in a contract. It's something, because I just fail to believe that not one of them would be seriously changing at least one community if it was allowed.
I don't know. The fear or the protectionism of what they've gotten, is maybe a factor, but I've heard people say it in the past. If, like, for example, the NFL, most popular sports league in the world right now. Well, I don't know. I guess soccer worldwide is more popular, but certainly in America, it's the sporting engine that drives the economy. And yet, this is basically a 70% Black league primarily. What I would love to see all the Black players get together and just be like, yo. Until X changes, we're not going on this field. I know it won't happen because people are trying to protect their, hey, listen, the NFL has a very short window to make money, and we saw by Colin Kaepernick that, and more recently, the Shedeur Sanders thing, the way that played out, that they will sit you down and humble you, or try at least to humble you, if they feel like you're not towing the line. So, the NFL is a big engine, but if all of the Black players collectively got together and was like, you know what, until we get this, we're not playing. We're not going out there. And then they'd have to put the scabs out there like they did back in the late 80s, I believe it was, when they were on strike. And that's horrible product. The people that are playing semi-pro ball somewhere now are the best that they have to offer. But if all the Black players realized their collective power and decided, you know what, this week we all gonna be somewhere else. We got something else to do this weekend. We're not. And if you start affecting the money and really getting into more real partnerships, get into a partnership rather than what people have described as the new age plantation, they're well-paid slaves. I mean, even the mentality, the name of the the people that run the teams, owners. How are you owning other people in 2025?
Trading them like the block, trading them on the block.
If you ever watch the NFL draft, it gives it definitely will trigger you to think back to the way they examined the slaves when they were on the blocks back during the time of the enslavement of our people here.
And Curtis, I'm not even saying don't bite the hand that feeds you or don't mess the money up. But when you look and you see that $300,000 hit your account this month, some of these players, $300,000 is going to hit over the course of, I think Cam said he was seeing $700,000 every week or something like that. Numbers that the average person forget seeing, can't even comprehend every week hitting. Why can't you take any of that 100,000, 300,000, 700,000 a week, use the same ingenuity that helped you grow to the point where you could make that money and come up with a new idea, as you were saying a couple minutes ago, to grow that money, but also put other people in flight. So because people might say, oh man, well, you telling these brothers to mess up their money, man, and take a stand, and okay, don't mess. All right. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But can you, off the field, think about what I can do to change my people, my situation, my community? And again, I think they can. I think it's written into their contracts. You cannot do this. And the minute we start to see you doing anything concerning social justice or trying to rally your people or start some type of capital market or some type of investment fund where your people are going to get rich with you, we going to cut off that capital. Like Get Black With Me said, the access to capital, we will cut that very quickly. It got to be built in, because like I said, black people, we come up with so much. We're geniuses. I can't see all of these wonderful, brilliant, rich, black, hardworking people who are goal-oriented. Just all of a sudden, none of them are going to take that bull by the horns when they have all the money necessary to do it.
Well, see, to me, this is a recognition of power, right? And you said something about don't mess the money up. And I get that, not biting the hand that feeds you. But what we as a people have to start realizing is that they don't make money without us. We are what drives that engine. Nope. All right. So you remember the NFL in the early days, when before the Super Bowl, and it was when they weren't letting black folks play, or even before Jackie Robinson integrated baseball, and how boring some of those sports were. We are the thing that brings whatever that it factor is that makes people tune in and record numbers to the NFL. It's us.
You mean you're not watching, Curtis? You mean you're not watching none of that 1960s basketball footage?
No, not at all. Because nobody loves that. Nobody wants that. When you've seen Michael Jordan, once you've seen Michael Jordan, are you going to go back to Jerry West? And all props to Jerry West. He was a great player for what it was, but we are the engines that drive this, that make somebody else rich. What would happen if we had all these superstar athletes set aside a portion of their money to put in some sort of fund that becomes that safety blanket, so would allow them to take some sort of collective action without risking the bag, as the young folks say. How about thinking a little bit differently about this? We are so often caught in the mindset of the people who kidnapped us and brought us here. And so anyway, it's to me, it's about a recognition of our power. What we bring to the table is what drives the engine that makes other people rich in this country. And if we recognize our own worth, our own power, what we bring to the table, and really began to kind of put that together collectively, there's no stopping us.
Absolutely.
There would be no stopping us.
Not a question. Get Black with Me just said something hilarious. Imagine have our own league and that competes with the white leagues. It
couldn't happen.
Listen, when we would come out, when we played football when we were young, some of the boys know and maybe some of the girls know because the girls would jump on rope and watching, and some of the girls every now and then you had a girl that could just play football with the boys and she was great. But we knew if you stacked all the good players on one team, if you were the captain and then you picked the dude and once you pick 3 people, nah, bro, this is a slaughter. Hold on. Nah, nope. You can't have no one wants to see it. No one wants to see a slaughter. Same way when you're playing Madden and you put it on easy so that you can beat the team 70-0, have a 99% completion rate and run all the kickoffs back. Yeah, it's cool, but no one wants to watch it, and I think just change what's going to happen as we change the capital, because there's so many brilliant Black people that are having this conversation. And as we change the capital flows, and this all started from us talking about this Fearless Fund, which has led to, a conversation about capital. As we change the flow of capital and the access, the acceleration of growth of Black business and equity and wealth is going to go nuts, and it's not going to take long. It's just certain pieces that have to be in play. We have more Black private equity firms than we've had in the past. We have more Black venture capital firms, more Black seed funds, and once we can really build this marketplace where everybody who is from the community who wants to start a company, grow a company, scale a company, knows the roadmap, it's game over. It's because that capital flow, the capital, there are people who we only know them because they can move money, not because they created anything.
Right.
Warren Buffett knows how to move money. He hasn't created anything. There's a guy, goodness, his name is slipping me. Maybe if one of the co-hosts can type him in. He started Blockbuster, and he started the company Waste Management. What he did was he raised capital, bought the first one, expanded with the capital. He didn't create the concepts. And once we really understand that the money flow is the only thing we need to be focused on, I'm telling you, it is over for game. It is over for, it ain't even going to be about no other team. We're just going to see more stuff launched than we've ever seen. We're going to see dozens of Black businesses launching every month and growing every month because we figured out how to unplug the flow of capital so that our startups, our Black founders and co-founders, look at Pinky with Slutty Vegan. Why is she's making deals with white money? Because, but she has an incredible product, ends up getting the product back. But if that money was Black money, it's just, we have the genius. We have the companies. It's not about that. It's now just about getting with people. And if you are a person who's into the capital markets and you're like, Deshaun, this is what I do. Curtis, this is what I do. I run a fund. I'm interested in, perfect. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with me, Brother Deshaun at rep2025.org, because that's all we want to build right now. That's all the infrastructure is about, is getting the capital to these Black owned businesses. And it shouldn't be through grants. We shouldn't be talking about grants. Because what's going to happen, Curtis, when they see that Black people have figured out the grant market and they're starting businesses with grants? What's going to happen with the grants?
Now they're going to shut that off. They'll shut that down immediately. But yeah. We have a new co-host that put in a couple things. Elizabeth, I don't know how to pronounce this, but China. Welcome.
Good to see you. Yep.
Glad to have you. And she makes a point here. Well, a question is why are the people saying Black when the color is not Black? Black and white is made up. All right, that's all part of a game to keep us separated. Go back and look in history. There was no black or white until 1600s. In that time frame when they needed a way a way to prop up the idea of enslaving other people. They needed a reason to enslave. You can't enslave somebody that you see as your equal. You can't enslave somebody and force them to work if you see them as also human. So they made up this concept of white and black. White people are not white. They're pinkish sometimes, or some other.
I would always use the peach crayon.
Peach, okay, there you go. So they're not white any more than I am black. I am a beautiful shade of
almond. Yeah, nice chestnut.
and then they feed us this mentality that we hate. You ever heard the Malcolm X say, "Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate your black skin?" Mm-hmm. And even in my lifetime as a younger man or younger boy, we fell into the trap of teasing those who were darker skinned. I've now learned to love that dark hued person because that's the source code. You see these social media contributors talking about how the melanation that's in our skin, that's the source, because all other people came from us. In case you didn't know, sorry to bust your bubble, but the whole thing about the white and black is it's just made up to separate us, to keep us from really going, and we touched on this, to really understanding who the real enemy is, and it's the haves versus the have-nots, not the whites versus the blacks, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And we're gonna speak that language because it's understandable. But we also welcome everybody when it comes. But there are conversations that we need to have because there are cultural differences. If I'm with a bunch of people in church, we're gonna talk about church, black, white, anything. We're gonna talk about Jesus. We're gonna talk about the Bible. We're gonna talk about prophecy. This is if I'm with a bunch of black people that I grew up with, or if I'm with a bunch of brown people, we're talking about things that affect us. So it's more cultural, and when we're talking about this particular, when the things that affect us, it's not that we need to grow our own. We need to grow our own people and our own equity. And yes, the conversation is going to be inclusive later, but you wouldn't go and talk about how you're going to help your neighborhood when your household can't pay its bills.
Right.
So help your household and then move to your block, maybe. Self-preservation is, I think, the greatest human need. It's the greatest tendency, self-preservation. So it's natural. It would be unnatural for a person who can't even get up to think about, how can I help this whole city? You're bedridden right now. So how about you concentrate on your health, get yourself to a place where you can be of value to your household. And then once your household is doing well, let that spill out to your neighborhood. So we cannot have conversations about other people when we are desperately in need of growth, equity, wealth, ownership, all of these things. So thank you. So that's why the conversation sounds selfish or uninclusive, because we are trying to preserve our very existence.
Right.
And we are in 2025 realizing that the existence of us is going to come from owning what has been sold or taken. And again, everyone's welcome, but I'm very much interested in having the conversations that are going to move us forward, because as we build a percentage of Black people that are healthy, prosperous, wealthy, Going back to what Curtis said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month or week. Mentally healthy, can feel good about themselves, are not dealing with childhood traumas. As we build that, it will naturally spill out to our cousins of other shades. But you know, I'm unapologetic about helping our people, our households first, before we look to spill out and see how can we change the world, heal the world. No, let's heal us first.
Yeah, put your mask on first before you help somebody else. And I would love to see us as a community. Let's to kind of put a bow on this. Let's master the art of lifting as we climb. And so often we see people who climb and build something, and they use it as a way to get out of, to escape from our community, instead of maybe building and earning and building something while at the same time pulling somebody else along. And then when you get to that point, then maybe reinvesting in the community that fostered you to come out of that. And maybe building a way for someone else to climb their way out of it. The more we help each other to climb out of it, the stronger our base is. So I would love to see us develop that mentality of just kind of not just getting the bag and running away with it, but getting the bag, making ourselves comfortable, but, building that comfort in our own communities, within our own communities, not escaping our own communities.
Amen.
Well, I'd love to see that be the case. Anyway, I want to get through. We've had some great discussion, and we always do. I appreciate our co-hosts for chiming in, as they always do. I see some new co-hosts that have joined us and have been.
JJ Mars. Welcome, JJ Mars.
Already bringing some valuable insight and input, and we encourage you to keep that up, because that's what we're here. That's what we're all about here. I want to bring up, though, a story. We often talk about things that's going on especially now in this administration, seeing things happen. And, I want to make sure we make the connection back to how this could affect our people. And so, in fact, last week when we were on the show, I think I made the announcement while we were on the show of breaking news that the U.S. had again attacked and destroyed another ship, a boat that was in the Caribbean, and the administration claimed it was narco-terrorism, and they, without due process, without a trial, without any evidence, just destroyed these boats in the Caribbean, just shot them out, and they're showing the picture, right? They're showing the film. So we've seen it now. I think it's 4 times that the administration has launched these attacks against these people who are just riding their boat in the Caribbean, and under their say so, without any evidence, they're just destroying these people. Now, I don't know if you realize geographically, the Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Cities there, are really about 12 miles away from Venezuela. And now we've got a situation where people that look like you or me, who are just trying to make a living fishing in the waters off the Caribbean, they feel like their lives are potentially, and certainly their livelihood, because we heard our president get on there and say, well, I don't know if I would be out on a boat these days. Yeah, because they're doing this in such a haphazard way that, it's not hard to envision a scenario where this administration shoots a boat out of the water and it's a mistake. Like we've seen them ship people off out of the country, deport people who are U.S. citizens or who are here legally and under U.S. protection. So, clearly this administration is not above making mistakes. And yet we've got these fishermen who make their living, who look like us, who are living, not far away from these countries that the administration has openly basically declared war on without any kind of evidence, any kind of documentation, any kind of proof. So my prayers go out to those fishermen and people who earn their living on the sea in that part of the world, because we're entering strange times where I never would have thought I would see a time where you're just shooting boats haphazardly out of the water just on the say-so of a few people, and everybody seemed to be okay with it. Everybody seems to be, they were narco terrorists. They're bringing drugs into the country, not doing anything about the drugs that are being manufactured and brought in right from Canada and other places where we're shipping in these drugs and getting them into the country, and it's based on the demand that our citizens want these things. Otherwise, they'd be shipping them in for nothing, right? But anyway, exactly. I digress.
The only other thing, unfortunately, there's no due process. No, we never get to hear from the other person. So, but in this particular case, we are getting a little bit from people who are just saying, "Hey, we're fishermen," and we're scared. These aren't terrorists. These aren't guys smuggling drugs. These guys are like, I'm a fisherman, and this particular this is just a little piece from this Associated Press article. It says, on a recent afternoon, Kenrick Modi finished untangling his fishing net in the quiet Caribbean village as he slipped into a hammock at his home overlooking the sea. He worried that his life and livelihood could be wiped out by a U.S. military strike. Modi lives in the Caribbean twin island of Trinidad and Tobago, just 11 miles away, as Curtis said, from Venezuela. And U.S. President Donald Trump is giving instructions to shoot and kill people. This is, he said, what could we do? Right. So now you're scared to even be in those waters. And it's just, again, it amazes me, Curtis, how quickly things become normal.
Right.
We had drones flying through New Jersey. And I don't agree with everything that Gavin Newsom says, but he's a well-spoken guy. And he is very much telling people this is not normal. Right. And I like that he continually rings that bell. This is not normal. Because the minute you accept things that are not normal as normal, you're going to stop, as Curtis always says, being woke, having your head on a swivel. Oh, this is normal. It's normal for drones to be flying over us. It's normal for us to be shooting boats out of the water and not even having any anyone from that side able to talk. So, again, our prayers go out to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the people who are trying to make a living. And it's a new day. It's a new day.
You're not kidding about that. It is definitely a new day. So yeah, absolutely. Our prayers for sanity to reign at this time when it seems like insanity is driving the ship. We also find ourselves in a time of political violence, unfortunately, here in America, the likes of which we haven't seen in quite a while. Not to say, I came to the recognition that America is a very violent country and always has been from its inception. And now it's like we're trying to realize or trying to act like, this is something new. But from the time we came to these shores, the Americans, the people who would become Americans have just used violence to subjugate people, to persecute people. And I guess there are those who would, say, oh, well, you don't like it, leave. I'm just pointing out the truth, right? If you don't like the truth, then do something to change it, right? Change the trajectory of this country. And I mean, there are too many examples to count of the violence that we've perpetrated against others, the the way we've lied and broken treaties with people that we've made these treaties with, these agreements with. So,
and they got it, and they got it back. They got it back. The people who we thought were gone, destroyed, got it back. When there's interesting story in the Bible where they were supposed to go in and they were supposed to wipe out a people because God told them, if you don't take out these people, they're gonna grow up with your kids are gonna grow up with your kids. You're gonna eventually marry them, and they're gonna eventually talk you into worshiping their gods, and pretty soon you're not gonna be who you are anymore. And that's what happened. It's exactly what happened when they didn't wipe these people out. So these people that we thought were wiped out, these people who hit those shores, told the Native Americans, hey, there's a guy named Jesus. He's white, looks like us, blonde hair. He's the savior. Accept him and we will be at peace with you. Let's live at peace. And then they accepted him, and then they killed those people. And then they went and they got, as Get Black With Me said, used violence to bring millions of people of our ancestors over to this land, brought us here with violence, intimidation, subjugation, and okay, civil war happens and we think, all right, perfect. There was a war. These people have been destroyed, but they were not destroyed. And they were sitting dormant, waiting for the right opportunity, continued to show little, it's like the little thing at the carnival that you got to take the big hammer every now and then, the head comes up and you got to hit it back and it goes down. And you're like, oh, all right, there he is. And you think, all right, all right, every now and then one of these white supremacist groups or things or events would happen and you're like, wait, those people are still out there, but they're in the backwoods sleeping with their cousins and sisters. But every now and then they show up and they're like, okay, but they're at bay. They ain't got no real power and no real influence. And they were just waiting for the right opportunity where they can have the leadership that aligned with them, that would move their agenda forward and allow them to come out of those backwoods and take off those dirty overalls and be like, you know what? This is what it always should have been. Right. And they got it back. They got it back. And they are, now you got to decide, is this where I want to live? Because these guys would rather burn it down than see equality. They've never believed in it. So it's really about deciding where you want to live. And as I said at the beginning of the show, if you wait, post up, and this thing blows over, then you come back. But I'm telling you, it's not going to blow over. These guys are not going to this is a new generation. Right. They got young, hateful people. They got old, hateful people. They got media. They are sophisticated, more sophisticated than they were. And they are not going to relinquish the power they have right now. They would rather die first. And we're not about that. We're not willing to die to say we run this. They are. And I'm praying all people, just let them have it. Let them burn the place down, but don't come out and fight them, lose your life, lose your family's life, trying to fight pure evil. It's just not worth it. And it's not anyway.
Get Black With Me makes some great comments. I'm sitting here chuckling to myself that they use violence to get us here. We recognize that, of course, but this wasn't an all-inclusive kind of breakfast cruise, Listen, if you've ever been on a cruise, it's not like you get on the ship and they offer you a drink. No. It was a whole different kind of experience, and a very violent one that brought us to these shores and continues, frankly, to oppress us in a lot of ways, as the status quo continues to try and fight back against anything that looks like equality or equity.
Join thecall.org. Join thecall.org. Go sign the petition. Make sure you are in touch with us. You don't have to once you sign that petition, we'll be in touch with you. Everything we're discussing from the time we started Hello Black America, it was about action. It wasn't about just reporting on what's happening or talking at you. It was about, okay, we have an agenda. We do have an agenda. All the things we're talking about, putting together the capital markets, putting together the business committees that will allow the access to capital, the networks. This is everything we're discussing, looking at where we can actually We have so many places that we can invest in, because I don't even want to invest in America. If you do, perfect. But there's plenty of places in the Caribbean. Jamaica needs to be built. Haiti needs to be rebuilt. Trinidad and Tobago, the entire the ports, the docks need to be rebuilt. West Africa, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, and Nigeria, where a lot of our blood is, our DNA is. Imagine us over the next 5 to 8 years investing and owning thousands of companies in these locations where our people got freedom. They got independence. So we're sitting here trying to fight in America and say, hey, we've been trying to get independence and equality for 400 years since we got here. We've been trying to get it. But hey, Jamaica got it. Barbados got it. Trinidad got it. Liberia got it. Why are we sitting? They have the land. So we sitting here trying to be in the land of inclusion and integration. Why? Let's invest in the lands where our people already got sovereignty. What don't they have? They don't have the intellectual capital that we have as the diaspora, and they don't have the capital as we have as the diaspora. So when we take our money out of America and out of American companies and funnel that money into the Caribbean, into Guyana, into West Africa, forget it. Into the places where we know there's gold, diamonds, cocoa, coffee, tobacco, sugarcane. When we forget it, jointhecall.org.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna let you get through some of these stories, Curtis.
So many things go through my head. No, I'm enjoying the conversation, and that's what we like doing is just bringing up conversation. I just want us to be aware of some of the things that are going on around you, so that hopefully, if nothing else, you learn from us is how to think critically about some of these things, and just that's an angle I hadn't thought of. So anyway, we wanted to get through some of the stories. Again, we talked a little about political violence, and we saw a house of a judge, circuit judge, South Carolina Circuit Judge Diane Goodstein. Her home was burned down this past week, and authorities are saying again that there's no evidence that it had anything to do with her stances. She had recently taken some stances against the Trump administration's Justice Department and wouldn't acquiesce. Those were later overturned by the South Carolina Supreme Court. But then there's still, there's still this hushed whispers about maybe this is some sort of speculation about the fact that this was some sort of a retribution for her stance against this administration. We've seen, the killings of sitting political people in the state of Minnesota. We've seen the killing of Charlie Kirk that's now being linked to, political violence and that sort of thing. So, it's not a far-fetched thing to believe that in the times we are, that this could be some sort of politically driven violence. But the authorities are saying there's no evidence. I'm going to go on the record. I'm not sure I believe the authorities in a lot of these cases, because we saw the Trey Reed hanging at Delta State University. Right? We talked about that and how black men don't hang themselves. And then the authorities said, there's no evidence to support anything other than suicide, until Colin Kaepernick paid for the second autopsy. And then we find out that the man had bruises, blunt force trauma to the back of his head. There's no way that he got up there and hung himself and beat himself in the back of the head. So, I don't always trust the authorities, because the authorities are trying to protect, their place in a lot of cases too. So they're trying to support this infrastructure that has served them well throughout the years. But anyway, well, I want to get into, though, not much else to report on that. Just, stay tuned. We're going to pay attention. But the thing that got my attention this week, was a young man that I think you might have actually turned me on to. What's the gentleman's name?
Julian Brown.
Julian Brown. Yeah.
Nature Jab is his.
That's it. Nature Jab
is his social media handle.
Right. So this, why don't you tell us a little about this, because I saw this week he was testing this new fuel that he's come up with, and it sounds exciting. Tell us a little about that, the plastoline, if you can.
Absolutely. What for those of you who don't know this young man, it's hard not to, because not only is he a genius, he's a master marketer. He has millions of followers on social media. His name is Julian Brown. As I said, his social media handle is Nature Jab, and what we know him for is developing a system to refine plastic waste into fuel. And he's refined it into gasoline and diesel, and he has called it Plastadiesel and Plastoline. And he has put this all together himself. When you see what he has built on his land, it is amazing. I mean, no one can do this without extreme genius. The amount of components to make your own refining machine and test it. He's commented on several occasions that he's almost, burned himself up several times. And I think, he's comfortable taking these risks because he knows that he's working on something that has the potential to change the world. If we think about how much plastic waste there is in the world and what recycling that into fuel could mean, this is his mission. And he has, over the last 6-7 months, tested it, because he's produced the fuel, and he now had to test the octane rating and test the emissions and see, is it clean and how does it actually compare to the traditional diesel and gas. And it's passed with flying colors. It's exceeded those, and with a much better benefit, because this is going to be better for the environment and give us a great outcome. So this latest event took place in Atlanta, where the true test was, can we power a car with this fuel he's created? And so he set it up with a dealership in Atlanta, and it was a Scat Pack. It was let me just share my screen so you guys can actually see how this went. And we'll play a little of it.
Plastoline, 110 octane made from gasoline, and we're gonna pour it in. You ready, Bobby?
You ready, Nobby? You ready, Nobby?
Here we go. History in the making, baby.
Plastoline.
Plastoline.
All right.
Oh my God.
Hello.
It's real now.
Hey.
See that? That's real. We got a little spilling.
Hold on, it's not going in.
Okay, hold on, y'all.
Wait, it ain't going in?
Open it up.
Ain't going in, bro?
So he's pouring it in. For those of you who listening,
now.
for those of you listening in, he's just pouring. He's pouring it. I would assume I would assume they siphoned all the fuel or most of the fuel out of the car just to make sure that there was no fuel in it.
They showed it as being on empty. They tried to start the car prior to him putting the fuel in there to see that it would not start because it was empty. It had no fuel. And then he put the fuel in.
Perfect.
Huh?
You got your funnel in your trunk?
No, I ain't got no funnel.
Anybody got a
Because
Oh, this was the video of him. I guess they were trying to put it in. It wasn't.
That's the longer cut of it, where they have an edited version where they cut out all that stuff. But
so we wouldn't be talking about this if the car didn't start. So the point is, the car started. And
they lit it up. The tires.
They drove it. He revved it.
Mm-hmm.
This car started and ran on plastic, created by this young black genius. And this goes to the next conversation that we've had, small bits of it, and I'm just going to say it in a sentence or two. This guy should be funded now.
Absolutely.
Anybody
Absolutely
who is running a private equity firm, a venture capital firm, an angel investing firm, you should be getting in touch to see how much this guy needs to build his team and his facility. That's what he needs, a team and a facility, so that he can take this product and he can turn it into $100 million company over the next 2-3 years, and then turn it into a multi-billion-dollar company over the next 5 years. So
this is huge in so many. If you see the amount of plastic that washes up in the ocean in the different countries, we tend to take all of our plastic refuse, and a lot of times we just throwing it into the ocean to kill the wildlife that's out there. But imagine, let your mind imagine a time where all these big detergent containers were just sit in landfills forever, can actually just be put into a grinder, ground up, go through this pyrolysis process that he describes, and this microwave pyrolysis process, which superheats the plastic, turns it into a liquid that they can then extract the fuel from. The genius of this is amazing. And it's sad that my mind immediately goes to, we got to protect this young man, because that there are going to be those who are trying to protect their money, from the fuel industries, the big oil companies. They got to be a little concerned about something like this. But you would think that if nothing else, that they would maybe find a way to incorporate what this young man is doing into their own processes, or purchase it as a standalone company that they can develop over time. But sadly, more than likely, if anything else, they'll buy it and then put it on the shelf and let it die, because it's competition for them. So, but shout out to Julian Brown. I mean, he seems a little eccentric to me by just watching his videos, but I guess you have to be eccentric to come up with an idea to turn plastic into fuel that can run a vehicle. 110 octane. That's higher than most octanes that you're going to get at any gas station, even super. So that's an amazing development, and shout out to Julian Brown. Protect this man at all costs, folks. We got to protect this man at all costs.
Absolutely. It's not even a question. I like what Benita said. In that initial funding should be money for his security.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He should be able to have a secure facility. But if again, Start Engine, Isaac Hayes III, you raise money through fan base on Start Engine. Get with Julian Brown somehow, figure out how to get him on Start Engine, create a pitch, find out how much money he needs initially so that he can raise that money and we can own a percentage of the company. Absolutely. Curtis, you want to own a percentage of Plastiline?
I love it. I would love to get in on that. I mean, I think this is a huge upside. Huge.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind being in on it. Listen, give me a portion of a percentage.
This is all we should be doing all day, is looking at companies like this and funding them. We are the money. They want us to think we're broke. Compared to the world, we're not broke. If you have $100 a week and you can put $25, if you have $100 just extra a week, and you are able to fractionally, they'll tell you, well, put $25 into Tesla stock, or put $25 into NVIDIA, $25 a week into a Julian Brown, a Dr. Hadia Green, who's curing cancer, a Moses West, who's built the machine that turns air into water, the hundreds and hundreds of Black entrepreneurs, startup founders, geniuses. Just $25 a week bought you a small fraction of a percentage in their company. And you just did that for the next 5-10 years. In 10 years, you own 2,000 Black-owned companies. Some of them are going to go to nothing. Some of them are going to go bankrupt. But you own 2,000 of them. So maybe 800 of them go bankrupt. Maybe another 800 of them do somewhere between 10 million and $50 million in revenue a year. Great return on your money. Better than NVIDIA. But a small percentage of them, 10% of the companies, are $1 billion and $5 billion and $50 billion and $100 billion and $2 trillion companies. Blast the link. This is an entire industry. So again, guys, InvestFest. Reach out to him. You just had him at InvestFest. If I had him at InvestFest with 10,000 people, the only question I'm asking Julian Brown is, how much money do you need?
Right.
How much money does it take to take this?
And who do I write the check out to? That really should be the only questions.
That's
right
it.
now. So, Get Black with Me. Always appreciate you bringing names to the fore and bringing information for us. She brings forward the name Percy Julian, who just quickly looked up, as an American research chemist who pioneered the chemical synthesis of medicinal drugs from plants. Kind of, again, out of the box type of thinking that we saw with people like George Washington Carver and his groundbreaking work with the peanut. Now we see Julian Brown doing some outstanding work here with developing a fuel source from recycled materials, solving more than two issues at once. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, Get Black with Me makes the point that in Japan, they are turning used grease into fuel as well. So around the world, we see, people trying to fight the battle against global warming and that sort of thing, which our government is seemingly fighting against. But the rest of the world seems to understand the importance of us altering our fuel sources. Otherwise, we may not, we may burn the planet down that we were entrusted with here on this earth. So more to come. I want to definitely stay tuned to what's going on with Julian. I like watching his videos. I want to see what's next. But to your point, the money ought to be, he's already shown and proved his concept. Proof of concept has already been shown. Now the money really should be rolling in at this point. So
Agreed.
Shout out to Mr. Brown. Continued good luck to him and blessings to him, and continued success in his efforts to develop this fuel. I would love to see it get off the ground.
And another good point Get Black with Me just made, there are a lot of other parts that will need to go with plastic fuels, like compatible engines. Now, Again, when you look at an industry being created, we're talking about a man who creates an industry where multiple other billion-dollar companies, ancillary products is what it's called.
Right.
It's the little branches that come out of the vine. So he creates an industry, and then that not only feeds everyone in his company, that, he builds the next, Standard Oil, which was Rockefeller's refinery. His company was called Standard Oil, but Rockefeller created so many other opportunities for ancillary products. So again, guys, I don't think there's anything bigger from an investment standpoint. And as you just said, Curtis, the proof of concept is done. The risk has been almost eliminated.
Exactly.
He's bootstrapped his way to this in his backyard. I mean, at this point, the money should be flowing, but it's not going to flow from anyone who is in with Petro. They're not going to let it happen.
Right.
Which
they're going to try and squash it, if anything.
100%. Buy it up, buy the rights, kill it. People will when Rockefeller was building his industry, his empire, he would buy other refineries, and the first thing he would do is close them. So don't think if somebody comes and writes Julian Brown a $100 million check, which is nothing, they might write him a $1 billion check. It's like when Instagram sold to Facebook. Instagram sold to Facebook for $1 billion. They thought they were winning, and they were. But they also sold way, way low, way low. Facebook turned around and paid WhatsApp $26 billion. And if you say WhatsApp is more valuable or was more valuable at the time than Instagram, somebody would ask you, what drugs do you take? So, so $1 billion, if they offered him 1 billion, 5 billion, he might sell. And then we think, oh, wow, they're going to take Plastiline to the world. No, they'll just close the company.
Yeah, they'll put it on the shelf somewhere. But to get Black Whitney's point, and I had this thought while I was watching the video, is that, yeah, at 110, I'm sorry,
Octane?
Octane level. Yeah, you're going to burn out engines. Even that Scat Pack that they were testing, I would imagine that it is going to burn out the typical engine. So to get Black Whitney's point, yeah, now that is going to build an entire new industry potentially that can rise up in support of this new fuels level. And it's what we saw in Detroit, in the car industry came to Detroit, but it also raised up, there's a battery plant somewhere nearby. There's somebody that's doing upholstery for all these vehicles that are being built. Somebody's building tires, making tires to equip all these cars. So all of those supporting or ancillary industries that can be supported by this sort of investment and this sort of invention is really, it's amazing. It really is.
It's everything Donald Trump says he wants. Creating jobs, creating industry. This is thousands, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of new jobs created from Julian Brown.
Yeah.
With the proper capital.
Absolutely.
And again, I think that's on us. So Isaac Hayes III, Rashad, Troy, redo this thing. Redo this thing. Because if we look back 3 years from now and you had him at InvestFest, and you call yourselves, again, you call your event InvestFest, and you look back and say, we had the John D. Rockefeller of our day right here when he was launching a product a month later and we didn't invest in him, that's on your books forever. That's in when we look up your Wikipedia, forever that's attached to you. So you need to go get in touch with him now, figure out how to get him on Start Engine so that he can raise money for the next stage of what he needs to do. Absolutely.
And I'd love to see that happen sooner rather than later. As we move on in the stories we have, we're not going to devote a lot of time to this, but did you see that the U.S. Supreme Court decided that they would not hear Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal, leaving her conviction, or 2021 conviction, intact for sex trafficking minors linked to Jeffrey Epstein. And here's an announcement. The Epstein files still have not been released, in case you didn't know that. So Maxwell had argued that her 2008 non-prosecution agreement between Epstein and federal prosecutors in Florida should have protected her from prosecution, but lower courts ruled it did not apply to her. So she's currently serving a 20-year sentence. Isn't it interesting that we got these rich, powerful men who are accused of being part of this pedophilia ring, and the only person doing any time right now is a woman. I I just thought it was interesting. It's like, not a single John has been. Now listen, Epstein was prosecuted and he did go to jail, and supposedly he took his own life there. If you believe that, okay, you believe that. But I just find it interesting that the only one that's really left holding the bag here is a woman, and then that's not to say she shouldn't be doing time, but I can't believe that if you got this if you've got this ring of pedophilia going on, and they've got a whole island where they're taking people from the U.S. to some island to do Lord knows what. Yeah, but why is she the only one doing time?
Why don't you see Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same room?
Listen, I'm not even sure I can answer that question. So when we're talking, since we're talking about fictitious characters, I don't know.
The justice system, it's clearly something. The people who there's just people to protect. There's people to protect. There's no way that we could be calling for these Epstein files, that people could be calling for them, even people who are in MAGA, Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping out. Hey, we want to see
He's
these
going
files.
off.
Yeah, she's on one.
Yes,
she's on one, and this is just, again, this is a perfect example of legitimate healthy discourse. We don't need to agree on everything.
Right.
But you only prove to me and the people you're not in a cult when you could be objective about certain things. And so we may not agree on how we should see America, or how whites, blacks, brown, whatever it may be, should be treated. But if you're not willing to okay, what about the Israel subject? Do we agree on that? Oh, we agree on that. Okay, great. All right. Hey, do we agree on the fact that the Epstein files should be released and that, people should be held accountable? Oh, we agree on that. Perfect. That shows that you're not in a cult. It shows that you're not with the go along to get along gang that we see rallying around the administration. And again, you see Marjorie Taylor Greene being totally isolated from MAGA. They'll label her a traitor. I'm sure they like to put her in jail just that quick. But yeah, this is it's not going away. And it's just not going away. And I don't know if it's going to. I'm glad people are not letting it die. I'm glad, I'm glad it's not going away. And like Curtis makes makes it his point every week to remind you guys that we still have not seen those Epstein files.
We're still waiting.
We're still waiting.
Still waiting.
Yeah, but Ghislaine Maxwell being the only one in jail is very interesting.
It is. I just brought it up. Just something to think about. As Arsenio used to say, things that make you go,
Remember that? Absolutely. It reminds me
of a whole song about it.
It reminds me of the people who, we had a big ring of stolen cars in this area in New Jersey and even all around the country. In certain black cities, you had young black men, 14, 16, stealing cars. It's like, I don't know if it's called an epidemic, but huge. But you arrest these kids.
Right.
Where are they taking the cars?
Right. Somebody's doing. You know what? It's funny you should bring that up, because you see these and I'm looked into it deeply, but you see these I've been seeing lately the filming of like a bunch of kids, or a bunch of mass people breaking in all at the same time, like 20 of them running into a jewelry store, just stealing everything and just running out. And then, basically you're not catching all of them. They're getting away. And I just realized that apparently there is somebody else in the background that's basically paying these kids, money to be like, here, y'all all show up at this place at this time. Y'all all do this, get the money and take it back. And somebody's pulling the strings, to get these folks to do that. And maybe it is because they're young and they're not going to do as much time as maybe an adult would do if they were caught. But that's what the gang mentality has been doing for years. Get them while they're young, and then they avoid the consequences. Plus, you've indoctrinated them for lifetime, really, in a lot of cases, where they continue, unfortunately, down that same road that leads to nowhere. Unfortunately,
back in the days, we used to catch those guys.
Yeah, well,
they used to go after the boss. They would go after the big fish.
Right.
And it just blows my mind that we but the big fish gotta be big if you're not even pursuing them. That means, this is old school organized crime where the mafia was paying off everybody and the government was paid off by the mafia, and we're not going to investigate them. The DA, the attorney, everybody was just paid off. And that's what I think of when I think about Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, everybody on the higher up, she's the sacrificial lamb. Like,
the Department of Justice can't be trusted anymore. They've been weaponized and politicized, and unfortunately, we're seeing We talked about at the top of the show, persecution of political figures. This week, James Comey got out and did his not guilty thing at his arraignment. And we see Letitia James getting, so it's like all of our institutions are kind of under assailment at this point.
Yep.
I keep saying it. This ain't the America I grew up in.
Absolutely not.
So
today's a new day. And one more reminder that we like to give weekly. This one's from Get Black With Me. We still have no deals made.
No.
So these deals we heard about for so long, deals. We're going to make deals on top of deals. We're going to make so many deals. You're going to get tired of making deals and winning with these deals. And we're still waiting to see those deals.
Well, listen, we know there's been plenty of deals made, but none of them are helping the United States of America. I just read, we just reported last week or the week before about Trump RX and the partnership.
That's right.
And just before I got on the show, I was reading I think it was an MSNBC article, basically pointing out that Donald Trump Jr. owns a pharmaceutical delivery company that expects to make a lot of money from this whole Trump RX deal. And I was so shocked. I was surprised because I would think that the Trumps are above that sort of thing and they would never, succumb to personal gain instead of doing what's right for the American people.
And I don't know if you saw the latest.
You didn't catch the sarcasm dripping from that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too busy for a second. I missed that. You know why? When you started talking about Trump products in the grift, I literally couldn't wait to tell you that this morning I saw there's a new product called Trump Watch. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see the Trump Watch?
Was it wrong? Was it wrong all day except twice a day? It's right twice a day. That's
probably. That watch is going to kick out on you. that watch is going to kick out on you so quick. But for those of you who think that we may be playing, no, I'm dead serious. You can get your own Trump watch. I'll pull it up here on the screen. This amazing. We have. I don't know if this was considered illegal back in the day. You see it, Curtis? Look, Trump watch.
Oh my goodness!
And he made a video saying, it says 40. He has one that has 45-47 on it. So again, the monetization of America, ladies and gentlemen, the monetization.
No, this is the grift. This is what this is, plain and simple. Call it what it is. The fleecing of America.
That's right. Oh, good. That's exactly what Obama said. When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you something. That was so good. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's just add that to the long list of things.
Listen, that Black Whitney makes the obvious point. I'm sure that it was made in China. I wonder if he had to pay the tariffs, though. That's the question. Did he?
Absolutely. So we got Trump. We got your Trump Bibles. We got your Trump sneakers. And there's these Trump. I'm sure there's these Trump fanatics that just everything. They got a whole.
Listen,
room.
You go in their house, it's like a museum to Trump. They got the MAGA hats all over the place. They got the Trump Bible. They got the Trump sneakers, that they wear to the local Klan meeting down there. And it's just amazing. All this stuff. They're wearing the Trump ties made in China.
I had two Trump ties back in the day. You know what's so crazy? I had two Trump ties. I never got rid of them. They disappeared. I swear to you. I had two. I had a red one and a black one. Could not find them to this day. God knew. Could not. I cannot. I had a red one and a black one. I bought them like in 2011 when I worked for Mercedes, literally. And man, them things disappeared out my whole wardrobe. Because I wouldn't throw them away. I wouldn't throw away ties. They are gone. I don't know if my wife came in one day. And was looking. Get these things.
Gene Charles Ned points out the Trump coin. Yeah, that's another Trump thing.
Coin? Commemorative coin.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's keep it going. We're gonna try.
Did you see this week that this is just for mention in case you didn't know, the IRS released its new inflation adjusted thresholds for 2026 tax year. So now there's still 7 tax brackets: 10%, 12, 22, 24. 32, 35, and 37%. So from 10 to 37% tax brackets. And the richer you are, the lower that rate is that you play usually. So the brackets were just bumped up to account for inflation. Now you can get a $16,000 adjustment for single filers or $32,200 for married filing jointly. And there's a new bonus for seniors of $6,000, but that's only through 2028 for older or blind taxpayers. I wonder if you can get both. If you can get $12,000 if you're old and blind. That's a question to be asked. But, you know, inquiring minds want to know. Nothing there, but yeah. You know,
I mean, as somebody who, I mean, you have a degree in accounting, you know, what is that? Is this
business
good?
administration.
Business administration.
Yeah.
You have an MBA, just so you know, this gentleman is extremely smart. What tell is this good, bad, indifferent? Is this a win? Is it a wash? What is this?
I think it's a non-mover. I mean, listen, you still got to pay the taxes. It's not like you're gonna avoid it. I mean, they bumped up the deductions a little bit. They bumped up the tax rate. Somebody wake me up when we don't have to pay taxes anymore. And I know that you have laid out a scenario where that could be something that happens down the road, but it hasn't happened yet. So as long as I still got to pay them, I guess.
Right.
I don't care. Yeah.
Nothing dramatically changes.
Nothing there. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. We've reported in the past about my home city, New Orleans. You know, back in May, I think it was, they had those 10 guys that escaped from the prison, and they left a note saying "too easy." And you know, for a good portion of the summer, we covered the piecemeal recovery of those people. Well, the last of them, and I didn't even realize that there was still one on the loose, but the last of the 10 escapees from the New Orleans jail was captured this week. They found him in Atlanta. 27-year-old Derek Groves was captured in Atlanta following a police standoff, bringing to an end the months-long multi-state manhunt. Groves has been convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder in the 2018 Mardi Gras mass shooting, and has been serving a life sentence. And I don't know. The question that comes to mind, so this guy escapes prison in New Orleans, Louisiana. And he escapes, gets out of Louisiana, and escapes and goes to Atlanta. Atlanta's a lovely city. I enjoy Atlanta. I mean, why would you go to, why Atlanta? I mean, it seems like it's like, get away, go to Arizona, Montana, I don't know, maybe even California. They can get lost out there. But I mean, it's like 2 states over. And Atlanta just chilling.
And that's all the
yeah, maybe
that's all the bus. That's all they could afford with the bus ride. You know, the bus ticket.
Get on a Greyhound and go to somewhere in North Carolina and hide out in the woods or something. I don't know. Well, yeah, I hope you all feel safer that the last of the 10 escapees has now been brought back. I just wonder how he's getting treated. You know, you know that. I wonder if there's any retribution that he's having to deal with now that he's back in the custody of the good people of the state of Louisiana. I don't know. I have no evidence.
Is this an updated mugshot? Or is this we don't know that this might be his old mugshot, because the new mugshot might not be, you know, skin might not look this way, you know.
He was a trustee, according to Jean Charles Ned says that apparently he was a trustee, or he's a trustee, or he was. So when I think of trustee, I think of the movie Life. The guy, I don't even know what the guy's name, the character. Yeah, boss, we don't need no fences here. Whatever the name is. Yeah.
Yo, yeah. My man with the gun.
That's the guy I think of as a trustee.
He was a trustee in prison.
That's what our co-host Jean Charles Ned put in the chat here, that he was a trustee. So listen, I guess no more.
Right.
The trust is gone.
You lost that position.
You have now been demoted.
You lost a good thing, boy. You lost a good thing. We trusted you. Hey,
listen. Here's your toothpaste. Here's your toothbrush. Go clean the floor with it. That's what you are now.
That's what you are now.
Anyway,
it's normal. He took a chance, though. Shout out to the people willing to take a chance.
Listen, he had a 4-month vacation then.
That's right. That's right.
July, August. Yeah, that's a
Go
nice
on,
little
honey. Take a chance.
I hope it was worth it. I'm sure it'll tax some time off.
Anybody know what that line is from? You get the prize. We got about 5 more minutes on the show. We're at the 2:00 hour. We got 5-10 minutes. Who can tell me what that line is from? Go on, honey. Take a chance.
Oh, that's oh yeah, that's what is that? Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. You're getting warm.
Is that it?
There you go.
Yeah, the old lady. Go ahead, honey. Take a chance.
That's right. If you're really a prince, I'll marry you. All right, let's go. Let's keep it going. Y'all coming to America. You got it, Bonita.
Just a reminder, I put one of these stories in every week just to make sure that we recognize that we are indeed in demon season. This is because there's a pastor, quote unquote, a pastor. Anyway, a Utah pastor named Brian Sauve has drawn widespread condemnation after calling for the execution of rebellious young black men, citing biblical law. Deuteronomy 21 is what he cites to justify his stance. He described black culture as evil, murderous, violent, and bestial, and linked it to criminality. The phrase that comes to mind is, I know you are, but what am I? You know, I learned that in like 3rd grade. I know you are, but what am I? Because this seems like projection at its worst. He says black culture is evil, murderous, violent, and bestial, and linked to criminality. Anyway, his remarks were made in the King's Hall podcast, and the co-host did not challenge them, didn't challenge his views. So this person is parading around as a pastor. I presume that to be a follower of Christ, supposedly, but clearly not, because you can tell a tree by its fruit, and clearly somebody that espouses this sort of hateful rhetoric is clearly not a follower of Christ, or at least not a good one. Any thoughts on the demon seed pastor from Utah?
Demon
calling on whomever to basically kill black folks.
The demon seed. That's good.
I mean, it's accurate, if nothing else. I mean,
no, that's really good. No. We our co-hosts are, smart enough to put their own determinations together about this man, and we don't need to give him much more attention than he's already gotten.
If you were in the Houston area, especially our young ladies, and I'm going to have to get into this a little bit more because I've been hearing a lot about it recently, but in the Houston area, a lot of black folks' bodies are disappearing and coming up missing. There seems to be an epidemic in the Houston area. And now, of course, officials are saying that these somehow isn't they're not connected.
No,
but I mean, there've been like, I don't want to say the number because I want to get my ducks in a row as far as that's concerned. But I've heard numbers of like several, like teens in the teens or 20s of people that are just disappearing and missing. All in the Houston area. And if you know, Houston is a very black town these days, 4th largest city, I believe, in the country. And so we want to
over 16
folks safe.
Just pulled up some info. Over 16 this year.
16. Wow. This is 1 year. I mean, that's more than one a month. If these were white folks disappearing at this clip, it would be.
They'd be looking for Ted Bundy. Yep.
Yeah.
You got a serial killer on the loose.
Yep. Exactly.
16
but
bodies.
Because these bodies are black, not same reaction as being.
Yeah. This is on Fox News. It says 5 bodies found in a 5-day span last month.
Yep. I remember reading about that and hearing about it, but not having enough detail this seems like it's something that we ought to be aware of. We're always telling people to be careful, keep your head on a swivel. If you're in the Houston area, that goes double, because this seems to be a pattern. So I don't know what's going on, but certainly we want you to be aware if you're in that area, if you have family in that area, make them aware that this is going on. And I think that the citizens in that community, you don't want to get out on the streets and start protesting, but you ought to be making your voices heard that our lives matter and we need to be doing more to find out what is the cause of these people's disappearance. And if there is something going on, they need to fix it. So
16 bodies in 1 year in the Houston bayou.
In one area,
one area,
particular area. So,
be very careful if you are in this area, please, Jesus. It could, again, we the narrative is being controlled, media is being controlled. The things that you have to fight for media coverage. You better I mean, how many of us didn't know that? If you wouldn't have shared that, I wasn't even up on the fact of how many bodies were being found in Houston. So. It should be national news. Should be, hey, there's a serial killer on the loose in the Houston area. Yeah. But again,
only it looks like the Holloway girl. If they look like the Holloway girl, then you'll hear it on the news. But anyway,
let a 15-year-old blonde girl disappear. One of them, and it's all over.
It only takes one of them to be missing for it to be national news.
That's it.
Real quickly, because we are basically out of time, but a couple things, and we already hit on this a little, so I don't know how deeply we want to go.
Get with me. Stay posted. We got something to laugh about. We're
gonna end the show.
Yeah, stay posted.
But ahead, Curtis, we just want to mention that, of course, Letitia James, we talked about it earlier, been indicted for mortgage fraud and making false statements to whomever that was. And anyway, so she's been indicted. It's an obvious political persecution. If you don't know, Letitia James was the one who successfully indicted and prosecuted Donald Trump and got a $467 million judgment against him. I think it was the exact amount. I think that was later thrown out by a higher court at some point. But she's been a thorn in the side of our president, or your president. She's been a thorn in his side, and of course now he's unleashed the Justice Department against all his political foes. So we are now in a time where political retribution is become the order of the day. So we'll wait and see what happens. It's going to play its way through court. I don't think that she'll be convicted of anything, but stranger things have happened. So this is the story I wanted to get to today. And in fact, why don't you cover this? Because I
Jabari?
No. Oh, you know what? That's right. I didn't want to.
Let's hit on Jabari because we've been talking about Jabari for, and I'm glad you pulled it up because it was so many times where, this is the brother from Alabama.
Yes, that's the guy that you brought up his name last week, so it prompted me to go look into it. And no, we're still waiting for the body cam, and they gave up so much of excuses as to why they weren't releasing the body cam. None of them rang true with me. But we continue to see that our lives don't seem to matter here. And Jabari Peoples, 18-year-old, was killed apparently by police, and yet they refused to release the body cam footage. It's like they have it, but they don't want. They're hiding behind the guise of it has to be released to somebody who's related to or who's directly impacted. It was such nonsense that was being spewed that it was obvious that they're just trying to stonewall against releasing the body cam, and that's terrible. You force the police to wear these body cams, and I think it should be illegal for them to turn them off. But yet I think it should also be illegal for any municipality not to release them. It should be a crime for them to not release the body cam footage, especially if it exists. You got to let it out. And they're talking about inflaming people's, passions or what have you. But it just seems ridiculous to me that we wouldn't allow this body cam footage to be. So you can reach out to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, and of course, let's keep the pressure on, try and let them know that we care to see what happened to Jabari Peoples and why he lost his life.
And it's just more suspicious when they're not releasing it. So
doesn't it make it? It's like,
if you had nothing,
something ain't right.
Something ain't right. If you had nothing to hide, you released the footage. Yeah. So
that's
all right. So
right. This is the one we've been waiting on.
This is the one we've been waiting on. So a couple days ago, we're seeing Stephen Miller, who is let's just get his specific. What does this guy do?
Deputy
besides cause hell on earth. Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff, White House
Chief of Staff,
Deputy Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, and many of you know he has been. When you see his face, he's known for saying things that most people would not agree with, taking stances that most people would not agree with. Looks a little alien-esque. And
he could be one of those Men in Black characters.
Let's put a picture of Stephen Miller on the screen, and we'll let you guys be the judge on if he actually looks all the way human. Let's just, and again, I'm not listen, we have a historical example of what aliens look like. So let's not get sensitive. And Deshaun, come on now, you're being mean. He doesn't look, we have movies, we have footage, home video. We have a reference point. We have a frame of reference. He looks a little alien-esque. So does Sam Cassell. So it's not just a white-black thing. It's not just a...
Oh, my goodness. Leave Sam alone. How did he get a stray out of this deal? Come on now.
Sam will tell you himself. He knows if you put, So, but, and what makes it suspicious is he's on camera. This guy is a very important person, Deputy Chief of Staff. He's talking on this footage live, and CNN. He kind of has an episode. Let's play this out. Video has no sound. This is how powerful these aliens are. The sound has somehow disappeared from
the sound yesterday.
And when you see this footage, hold on, because you're not gonna get us like that, Stephen. Just there's other sources. Hold on.
That's hilarious.
Here we go. Hold on. All right. Where are we at? Shorts. All right.
Actually,
Stephen's responsible for this. This clip played just a little while ago.
Listen, we've been playing this clip for at least a couple days now.
You got
no problem.
You're not. Hold on.
An identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federal.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen,
Stephen, you there?
You all right?
You all right?
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Stephen?
Get black with me. What does this remind you of? And social media had a field day with this clip. But since and I don't know if Get Black With Me had to jump off, but immediately when I saw this, first he froze up. He kind of looked like, I don't know if he froze. It was like he was getting a signal.
Yeah, the Manchurian Candidate signal to the ear. Wait,
to the ear,
oh.
and somebody's sitting there with a joystick. We laughed, that co-president Musk is sitting there, and somebody, because it's like somebody hit the mute button on him, the stop talking button on him.
Yeah.
Chip shortage. There's a chip shortage. You cannot tell me.
Oh my goodness.
That something's not going on.
Listen, somebody pressed the button and it zapped them immediately. Stop talking.
Immediately when I saw this, I hit Curtis. Curtis, they're further proving to us they're not human. They're further. Look, if we were gathering evidence to make the case that there are people among us that aren't human, this would not be just circumstantial evidence at this point. This is, what is that, Curtis? What the heck was that?
They called it glitching, glitching out on the social medias. But what I want us to really focus in on, and I had to do a little extra research. He said the president has all plenary authority. The word plenary is from the Latin plenus, meaning full or complete. So basically what he's saying is something that has never been borne out, never been supported by truth or law. He's saying that the president has unfettered powers. All power, basically, is available to the president, which is absolutely untrue. And if you go through the historical references of the word and the usage of plenary authority, it has always been ascribed to Congress, never to the executive branch, because Congress holds the purse strings. They make the laws, and the presidency has always traditionally been bound by the checks and balances of Congress and the judiciary. And now what we find from this administration is an all-out assault on those balance of powers, where they want this man to have complete, unfettered, absolute power to say or do whatever he wants. And the Supreme Court has basically already ruled that if he does that in the context of his power as president, he's not going to be found liable for any kind of wrongdoing. So he said the quiet part out loud.
Granted him presidential immunity. That's right.
Yep. So we talked about, we're laughing about the Manchurian Candidate, but clearly this is a moment where he said probably more than he should have. But that's the thing. These people can't keep themselves. They can't hold water. They can't help but tell the evil that they're doing. They want to tell it so badly. Every time you hear Trump talking, you know he's on the verge of saying something that he probably shouldn't say. But, he just can't help himself. He's got it. But I need you to know how evil I am.
Right. But if I say something that I shouldn't have said, as a grown, intelligent man, a kid would know, all right, let me just be quiet. I'm not going to freeze up and look like somebody just hit a button that controls me. Like, I get that he said the quiet part out loud. But if you say that, it'll just be like, okay, all right, hey, you know what? Let's just move on to another subject. It's not going to be like, hey, Deshaun, you all right? Hey, so
they try to play it off as a technical glitch.
Remember, the Manchurian Candidate was a real person controlled by the chip in his head. Exactly. Get Black With Me. As soon as I saw that, you were the first person I thought of. Literally,
that is absolutely true. He sent me a text immediately. Get Black With Me is going to have a field day with this.
Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up this week in Black America, here's what I'm going to tell you. They are among us.
You know what's funny is I did actually watch the Men in Black franchise this week. It was on one of the pay channels, and I was looking for something to watch, and I said, "Oh, okay, let's watch Men in Black." And they walk among us. They do walk among us.
Absolutely.
And,
These suits, some of the suits are not even good. They're like Temu, like
Temu suits.
Temu human suits.
Aliens. I don't know what these are, but
come on. You know, usually y'all supposed to be to the point where y'all are buying the Armani of human suits, but y'all are not even getting high quality human suits.
They're not even bothering them. They don't even care. They're not even trying to hide it.
Hey, tag showing, like, come on.
Anyway, that probably is a good place to draw the line for that. We appreciate our co-hosts continuing to put up with us as we kind of have some fun as the show comes to an end. But as we always say, we kind of have to laugh to keep from crying because the things going on around us are very serious. They are things that we really need to be focused on a lot of times and be aware of. And that's what we try and do each week. This Week in Black America, we try and bring you the news that you might not have caught up on, give it to you in a way that's entertaining and engaging and a little funny sometimes. But we want you to know because we don't want you to be ignorant of the things that are going on around you. And there's so much. There really is so much. There's as much as we cover in this time that we spend together, easily there's another 10, 12 stories that we could have brought in that would have been equally important, but there's just too much going on to bring all that to us in this format. So maybe we'll evolve to a different format that will allow us to be more comprehensive in the coverage of these sort of things. But right now, we want you to meet us here each and every Friday at noon, where we'll try and recap the most important and most significant things that are going on that affect our Black community. And we'll continue to do that, hopefully. Brother Deshaun, any parting words you have this afternoon?
Every Friday, we're here, 12 noon Eastern time. We catch up on everything that happened, specifically how it affects us as Black Americans. And we have a lot of fun. We appreciate you joining us. We always welcome you to the dialogue. We bring all your comments in on the chat. It makes the show fun. Your voices are heard here, whether we agree with everything or not. That's not what it's about. We have a wonderful time, and we invite you to continually join us. Mark your calendars. Subscribe to the Brother Deshaun YouTube channel, the Hello Black America YouTube channel. We're live on the Brother Deshaun Facebook channel, and Curtis Cheatham is on Facebook as well. So you can certainly Curtis Cheatham Jr. So we just invite you to continue to, as my eloquent co-host always says, keep your head on a swivel, stay sharp. We still woke. You know, they're not going to kill woke because we're still woke. And we just appreciate everybody who continues to stay alert. And, we're going to continue to invite you to join the call, jointhecall.org. We are uniting all people who want to gather under legislation, present legislation to this administration to send us out with our reparations. You know, we'll leave, but we're leaving with money. You know, and again, you're going to pay us to leave. We don't need. We don't necessarily, and we think it's the best thing for America. The best thing for America is to fulfill Thomas Jefferson's vision, which is to send Black Americans to a land of their own and support them in partnership, in alliance, as allies, not as, bitter, scorned people. Literally, you came and got our ancestors 400 years ago from this place. Listen, send us back, and, one of us, two of us, 1,000 of us going back, that's not enough. You have to fund the way to fix what you started, and that's your true repentance. And that would truly show you want to heal race relations. We want a country that is run by whites, that has white ideals. That's what we always wanted, a white nationalist country. Perfect. Well, let us go back, let us get out of this economy and, fulfill Thomas Jefferson's vision, Abraham Lincoln's vision, which was actually, Abraham Lincoln says, if all power in heaven and earth was given to me, I'd send them to Liberia. So this would be great for everybody. It would be great for the Blacks that want to stay. Great. Perfect. Stay here. And it would be great for the Blacks who want to leave and go build up our nation, a nation somewhere else. So that's what the Join the Call rep2025.org proposal is about. You can go find out more information about it. It's a $2 trillion proposal. If if 2 million people leave. So we're talking about a 7-year open window for anyone who wants to leave. You get $1 million to leave in reparations. You can use that anywhere. You just can't come back to America. So you can go and take it and go to Barbados. You can go hang out in the Caribbean. You can go hang out in West Africa, Ghana. You can travel the world. Go to Thailand. Take your $1 million and go somewhere else. But we're also presenting an allied partnership with $50 billion in infrastructure for a host nation, whether it be Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Benin. We'll form a partnership with a host nation for $50 billion in infrastructure over 7 years, for $10 billion in schools, so we can build 5,000 modern K through 12 schools in the land we're going to go to, so that we can $1 billion a year in military aid and defense, so that we can protect the sovereignty of what we're going to be building. Again, this is an allied partnership. This isn't anti-America. This is the best thing for moving forward. It's a small amount of money compared to the benefits America can get, and that's what we're going to continue to pitch to Donald Trump. And if he's smart and if he's really the deal maker he claims to be, he'll make the deal. It'll be the best thing for him. He wants the new Nobel Peace Prize. That deal would get him the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, we're going to wait and see whether he's receptive to that or not. Certainly, we want to thank you all for joining us. We appreciate the time that you put in to spend with us each and every week. Tell your friends about it. Meet us each Friday at noon. This weekend, and for those of you who are celebrating the what may be a long weekend for some, Happy Indigenous People Day. We don't claim the other name any longer. Now that we know better, we do better. So we want to wish you a good and safe Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday. And on the weekend, please stay safe out there. Always saying, keep your head on a swivel. Be aware. Stay woke. Don't let anybody take that wokeness from you. Stay woke. And we'll meet you here again next Friday at noon as we will again run down what's been going on that affects us most. And we'll be back next Friday on This Week in Black America.
Hello, Black